What's up, everyone? This is going to be a public service announcement. I hope that you stay until the end. A few months ago, we noticed that our Hispanic brothers and sisters were being rounded up, taken to ICE camps, and deported. Well, that same scenario is getting ready to take place within the Somalian community. It will take place within Minneapolis, where I believe over 80,000 Somalians reside, and it will take place in various other places throughout the country. There are over 260,000 Somalians within this country. Keep in mind, Trump promised us that this would happen. He campaigned on this during his campaign at various stops, that he will deport illegal immigrants. Now, this is where things start to get a little icy. Pay attention to this. I know that as Americans, Black Americans, we sympathize, we empathize with all of the suffering that we see happening within these two communities, within the Hispanic community as well as within the Somalian community. We tried to warn them. We actually pleaded with everyone, please vote for Kamala Harris for president, because in our ancestral blood, we had already seen this movie happening before, that if Trump was elected into office, things would go from very bad to very worse. And it is happening. Now, pay attention, Black Americans, because many content creators, including myself, have warned Black Americans that this is not our fight. It is no longer our fight. Many immigrants have benefited from our pain and suffering, our ancestors' pain and suffering, through all of the civil rights marches and all of the protests that they went through, to be afforded even these temporary statuses that they have in the country. You know, a lot of the Hispanics and a lot of the Somalians are here under temporary protection status. Now, let me show you how this is going to work. They will be deported, they will be rounded up, and you will say, oh my God, I wish there was something I can do. I can show my solidarity by going out there protesting. I can go out there and marching. I can go out there and get involved and do my part as an American citizen. Okay, let me stop you right there. You as a Black American have been afforded your citizenship based on being descendants of slaves according to the 14th Amendment, which was passed in 1866. You have those rights because your ancestors were slaves. And even though some of our people were here before the country was formed, that is really where you are coming into this picture. Now, I want you to keep in mind what will happen. If you go out there and participate in marches and protests, there will be agitators in that crowd who will start burning down buildings, businesses, and cars and neighborhoods, and it will no longer be protected under the First Amendment, because the protection afforded under the First Amendment clearly states that as long as it's a peaceful protest, that there is no problem. But it will not remain that, because someone in the crowd will have been paid to agitate the crowd. And the First Amendment will then change. And the Trump administration will declare that this peaceful protest, may have started off as that, is now a riot. And once it becomes a riot, it no longer is afforded the guarantee of a First Amendment. And guess what happens? If you, a Black American who is a descendant of slaves, is arrested and put in jail, even though you have 14th Amendment protection and you are afforded the same rights as white citizens of this country, they will then use the 13th Amendment, which will say that you are now a slave again and that you are under involuntary servitude. And you will join the workforce of over 1 million imprison people who supply to the government as well as private institutions free labor or very cheap labor. It don't even come to the status of minimum wage. You will be part of that workforce. So I understand that you want to show solidarity and you want to show empathy, but you should remember that this is not our fight, because we tried to warn them, and many of them said under no circumstance should you vote for Kamala Harris. So now this is in this stage of having to FAFO. Yes, it's going to be hard to watch, but if you want to be involved, you can send up a prayer, say a prayer for them, but don't get involved and have your freedoms taken from you, because it's easy to get caught up in this situation. It's easy to become part of the problem. And I want you to understand that the Trump administration, they're really not caring about Black Americans, because we're not even in his administration. Over 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs since he became president. We're no longer a threat to them. They don't even care about us. What I want you to understand is this, and it's very simple. Most of our Hispanic brothers and sisters made a statement. They said, when he's finished with us, who do you think he's going to come for next? Who do you think he's coming for next? Well, it won't be us, because our citizenship is enshrined in the Constitution. And we have been here for 14 or 15 generations. They're not really concerned about us. They are only concerned about us if we get out of line. And that's when they're going to come for us. Other than a police stop where they plant evidence or where they unalive one of us, do we really make the headlines? We've been through this scenario before, so we already know what happens. We tried to warn everyone that this would happen, but no one heeded our warning. And so a lot of Somalians, a lot of Muslims voted for Trump. And they did this based on their religious ideology. Whenever you put religion and politics in the same bed, they become strange bedfellows. And one thing about it, politics is a no-win game. It is really based on lies, deceit, innuendos, and just fooling the people that they will do something that they have no interest in doing. Let me tell you something. If you want to vote for your best interest, it's best to keep your political standing separate from your religious morality. Because when you mix the two and try to deny the rights for others, such as the LGBTQ community, you will also deny your rights. Trump looks at the TPS as nothing but status that shouldn't even be there, because it was passed in the 1990s. He really don't acknowledge it. It doesn't have the same credibility as that 14th Amendment. That is enshrined in the Constitution. And I want you to understand one other thing before I let you go. We have to be smart in this day and age. We're in the day and age of Trump, where the Supreme Court has given him limited authority as president. He has limited authority to do as he pleases with no repercussions. In a few weeks from now, they're going to vote again and give him unfettered power. He will have power to do everything from the executive branch without any exceptions. And what has already happened is that the legislature has already abdicated their authority. They are no longer another functioning branch of government. The executive and the legislative branch have become one, and what Trump says goes. It becomes the law. The judicial branch, which is trying with all of its might to stop Trump and his unlawful orders, have no power, because the judicial branch does not have the authority to call up troops. Only the president of the United States have that authority, and he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So that's why he calls up the National Guards, do his bidding. All over the country, the National Guard will come into play to do the bidding of Trump. And if you go out and try to retaliate against these ICE agents who have now become federal agents, you will pay the cost. So I want you as Black Americans to take your seat, drink your lemonade, drink your coffee, drink your tea. This doesn't concern us. It's not our fight. I promise you this is not our fight. What will happen will happen. What will be will be. And hopefully 5-6 years from now, when we have a Democratic president and they still have that same unfettered power as an executive, they will change things and turn it around. But for now, we have to hold our cards close to our chests. And we must play smart. As that old proverb say, we must be wise as serpents and harmless as a dove. So I hope that this video finds you well. Most of all, I hope that you follow me on all social media platforms under the handle Charles Van Horn 53, and that you stay safe, and most of all, you stay woke.